Last time on Turtle Crossing.
Yes! Yes! Oh, no.
No.
Watch out for your eyes, eh? I don't want you to get a transducer in the eye.
We needed to remove the old transducer, the sounding piece of our depth sounder, in order to replace it. Removing the transducer was not an easy task. This one was glued in with marine adhesive 4200, and we've been told if you use 5200, the boat will deteriorate long before you could ever remove that part. So, 4200 was more than secure enough, as you can see.
Let's go get some food. Season 3, here we come, bitches!
This is our list of things that we need to do. That's just for Saturday. And then that's Sunday. Monday. Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Thursday's the day the boat goes in the water. So we have to get a lot of stuff done before then. And time is of the essence because we have a bit of a nice weather window for this week, as long as it stays that way and we don't end up getting surprise rain, which happens sometimes. And we also have some stuff to do with toxic paint that we can't do when William's there. So we have to organize ourselves accordingly. So Chris was up at 2 a.m. last night writing a list of all the things we need to do, the temperatures every day, and all the things that we needed to buy in order to make this stuff happen. So we still don't have all the stuff we need. We have to go to the marine supply store and get a few things for fiberglassing and epoxying and stuff like that, but
It's a leisurely hobby, the sailing thing. Isn't it what the fancy people do?
yeah, but the fancy people are paying other people to do these jobs. There are lots of crews and teams in the boatyard right now painting the hulls for other people and doing electrical for other people right now, and it's just, I mean, we are saving money by doing it ourselves, and that's good. And we're also learning more about the boat and the process and everything else.
So if it breaks on while we're cruising, then we can fix it ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's a nice doggy.
We're making good progress.
Yeah, I'm glad we're doing it ourselves, but I'm also a little nervous about our time crunch, but that's okay. Whatever we don't, and yeah, you have the week off. Some people don't have
1 week to launch.
Yeah.
Name of this episode.
1 week to launch. Yeah, that's a good name for it. Anyways, oh my God, she said the name of the episode. That's heavy, eh?
Yeah.
Because it's the old stays and the new ones. That's graceful.
That doesn't go on anymore.
Oh no, what doesn't go on? Oh, your grabber. Let me fix it.
Okay.
We're in the car currently because we had plans to do stuff today with William outside and like doing all of our mast stuff, like our stays, and our lights and stuff like that, but currently Chris is doing that alone because our neighbor is sanding his boat. And while Chris and I can wear masks and be careful, it's a lot harder with William. So, because a lot of that, anti-organism stuff that is in the ablative paints is super bad for you. So we're hiding in the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, we got to be safe.
Why?
Because that paint that our friend is sanding with is not very good for you to breathe in. It's really bad for you. So we're hanging out in here until he's all done. Anyways, I was hoping to help a little bit more than I am today.
Muscle is in emergency, Muscle.
It's an emergency. Oh no.
Yes, cut is up.
Oh, we've got to save him.
So there's lots of people sanding their bottoms here today. So what I'm doing is, this is the inner forestay that we had cut last year. Sarah had to go up the mast in order to take it off. So I'm putting it back on now, and hopefully it's the right size this year. So last year this had a split ring in the bottom. This year I think we're gonna do a cotter pin because Sarah had a really hard time getting it off last year. Oh, spiders up there. So last season we had quite a few issues with the lights at the top of our mast, and we just kept putting it off until we had access to it. We don't have a ton of time to look into it, but we dedicated today to get the mast set up properly. So we need to put our stays back on. We replaced our stays, and we're going to take a look at all the electrical. So my thinking is it's just not a lot of marine grade stuff on here. So I'm thinking maybe there's like these connections here. I think maybe one of those might be bad, or just having it wrapped in electrical tape isn't ideal. We plan on replacing this stand. The stand is a little broken. It might just be able to be fastened, but it looks like it's an actual bulb and not LED. And this is our anchor light, so if it's running all day, all night long, we'd rather have like no draw of an LED rather than some draw of an old bulb. So that's going to be my first project, is to take off the electrical tape, see which connections there are and which ones I can redo with like actual connectors. Like, see, these connectors here aren't meant for like water, because there's no, like, if they're meant to be in the weather, they'll have heat shrink built into them, so you can crimp them and then torch the heat shrink, and then it has a glue or an adhesive that won't allow water to get in. So I'm going to replace all these connections with those probably, or I have just regular connectors and heat shrink, which I might do that as well.
While Chris works on that, let's go back a day and talk about the battery box project.
So I'm installing, I'm putting back the cables I found. I put a new fuse on here to protect the circuits, but I'm plugging in the original wires. So eventually we're going to replace all these wires. Like, that's probably going to be in the short term, we'll replace the wires, and then in the long term we're actually moving all of these wires are going to be run up to those new fuse panels. But in the short term, I see that some of these are damaged, so I'm just going to cut it back a little bit and put a new waterproof end on it. Knowing that this is just going to be scrapped, it's just make it a little bit safer now until we can make a permanent solution.
Yeah, you could call me filthy. 멀리에서 왔지. NYC Timberland 구두 입고 왔지. LAX touchdown. I ain't sleeping a beat. Sleep on a beach. 차나머니까 도착했지. 난 아직 알지. I got a lot of things on my mind. 말만 하지. You are the suckers playing games. I've been through it all. 지옥 같은 인생 put into a song. Stupid long. Get in the car. 지금 rodeo driving. Sonny, we be riding. Top down, cruising down, freeway vibing. California calling, LA got the party. Chilling out in Cape Town, terracotta get down. Hold on, yeah, hold on, yeah. Venice Beach, Malibu, that's the truth. Hold my soul, hold on, yeah. talking Beverly, off that central breed. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? 나 지금 왔지, you know. 파란새로 왔지, 난 멀리 갔지. Okay, I'm out here chilling on the balcony. 여기가 좋지. 좋아할 줄 몰라서 난 지금
Let's get back to the present day action, shall we?
So Chris is outside right now doing more stuff with the mast, I guess. I'm not really sure what he's up to. I'm up here with William. He's in his quarter berth. Currently the only place in the boat that I've been able to clear. Tomorrow we're gonna paint inside the battery box, but there's all kinds of like holes and stuff like that. I'm gonna fill those up with some wood filler, and after I'm done that, I'm gonna wipe up inside to clean it up as much as possible, so that tomorrow when we do our final sand, it's clean and we can just put a coat of paint on top of it, and then it'll be beautiful and ready to start putting batteries and stuff in. William's being very good as usual. Are you singing the ABCs? Good job.
That's Mama.
Yeah.
Can you paint my socks by that?
Yeah, I can. He took his socks off and I told him his feet were going to be cold, but he does have his little space heater under here going, so he's got a nice little setup with his show and his space heater, and we're going to put his socks back on. Okay, there's a lot of wires here, so we got to be careful. I've started wiping stuff down in here, but there's no point really in cleaning because I'm going to actually be sanding this tomorrow. I started sanding it at the bottom. I'm going to finish sanding it all the way, and then gonna treat it with a coat of stain like I did with the walls back there. And I feel like we're getting to a point now where we're gonna start putting things together, so that's good, because I think both Chris and I are really getting tired of just feeling like we're just taking stuff apart, so, and making things worse. We feel like we're making things worse because we have to keep taking stuff apart in order to put it back together again, or put a new piece on it or whatever, like the depth sounder and the transducer and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
I've taken most, if not all, the tape off, so I do see a few red flags. So like I said, these connectors aren't waterproof. They're wrapped in electrical tape, but probably not good enough for being at the top of the mast. Here they have heat shrink on them, so this is what I was talking about. I might do it to make a more seamless connection, so that there's probably a connector somewhere in this wire, but the heat shrink that was used isn't marine grade. Like if it was marine grade, there'd be glue coming out the end here, so again this will have to be replaced. But the bracket for the anchor light it looks like it's broken, right? Like it goes through, but it's the actual mount that's broken on here. And like I said, it's got an old incandescent light in it. I want to replace that. This is our tri-light. This didn't work at all last year. I opened it up, there's water getting in there, and again it's a more of a power draw to power these bulbs than it is to power LED. So I might, before I get started, order some of these lights so that I have time to replace them before the season starts.
So Chris has got the wind vane on, he's got the VHF antenna on, and spreaders on, most of the stays attached, but we are, oh, there's red dust on here. But we're missing our backstay piece. Yeah, come on over here, Will. We're missing a backstay piece, so we have to find that. Hopefully it's going to be somewhere relatively easy to find because we need it very soon.
So we're racing to get out of here, but the last thing to do today is we're replacing this old line. This is the halyard for our jib. We've replaced it with this one. So the main reason for a replacement is this one is spliced, like it's rope and steel, so turns from rope into steel. I don't know how else to say that. This one is just all rope, and so now I've got to feed it through the mast. So my plan is to just duct tape these two ends together and pull from the end, and then put a fitting on the end of that. The steel on the other end is it has meat hooks, so everybody says, oh, these like that's how you know when your stays are bad, is when they get meat hooks. So our stays, our standing rigging was like almost 50 years old. It was original rigging and no meat hooks on it at all, but that halyard does have terrible ones. So whenever you're on the deck and looking for someone to hold on to and you grab that one, it was always an unpleasant surprise cutting your hand open. So hopefully this is a nicer line to pull on. And well, because we have a furling jib, we don't actually use it that often, but who knows what the future has in store. It's a little bit thicker than our current one, so I'm hoping it feeds through okay.
Is it Mama? Summer?
Yeah, it's Mom's camera.
Why? Why would that sky beat?
I picked it up because I wanted to talk to it. I was going to say that I'm chickening out on running that new line because I didn't want to make a mistake and then lose it halfway in the mast. So I'm going to come back with like some thread and a needle tomorrow and sew them together, and then that'll be a little safer, I think. So tomorrow's job. Yeah, it's a little cold. We'll warm up in a minute.
How we warm up?
I'll get you a bigger coat. So I'm going to sew these together now, the two ends, and hopefully that's thick enough to make it through and strong enough to make it all the way through. Okay, it's probably more of a loose tangle than anything, but I went through and around a whole bunch, and then I turned it 90 degrees and I went through and around a whole bunch. I'm going to put one thing of duct tape on it, and then hopefully it slides through. Seems pretty secure. I think if I pull on it, it seems pretty good. I'm not very good at sewing though, so we're just going to hope for the best. I've got Will pulling on the other end, so hopefully this goes well, and if it goes awry I can just blame it on him. Okay, pull a little bit. Yep, pull. I'll pull. See, when I pull like this, you're pulling? Okay, keep pulling. Oh, I really hope this doesn't come apart. Hey, we did it, Will. We got the green line now. The green line over there, see it? See it's moving? We did it! We did it! We did it!
I just read it.
Are you happy? We did it!
Yeah. You could call me filthy. 멀리에서 왔지. NYC Timberland 구두 입고 왔지. LAX touchdown. I ain't sleeping a beat. Sleep on a beach. 하나만 내가 도착했지. 난 아직 알지. I got a lot of things on my mind. 말만 하지. You are the suckers playing games. I've been through it all. 지옥 같은 인생 put into a song. Stupid long. Get in the car. 지금